There are people who have misunderstood this whole concept, and they've gone into some philosophies called Wahdatul Wujud and Wahdatul Shuhud. A time will come that Allah Ta'ala will just seize the world. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will perish the world on the day of judgment, and then when there will be nobody, then Allah Ta'ala will ask a question, Limanil mulkul yawm. And then we make dua. This is the adab, these are the etiquettes of making dua. That's how he used to remind himself, and this is how he used to make his dua. So the attribute of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that inshallah we are going to cover tonight. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa amma ba'd fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim thumma ruddu ila Allahi mawlahu Al-Haqq ala lahul hukm wa huwa asra'ul hasibin subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. So the attribute of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that inshallah we are going to cover tonight is Al-Haqq. Al-Haqq is the truth, the absolute truth. As it says that Al-Haqq is the one who is the truth and truly existing. His essence is the only reality, and He is the one through whom the truth, all righteousness and justice are revealed. His words, actions, reward, punishment and promise are true. So Allah Ta'ala is the absolute truth. Everything else is batil. Everything else is false, and Allah Ta'ala is true. What I mean by that is that everything, there is no reality of anything else. Whatever reality things have, people have, is in reality the reality of Allah. But don't misunderstand me, because there are people who have misunderstood this whole concept, and they've gone into some philosophies called Wahdatul Wujud and Wahdatul Shuhud. I'm not getting into that. There's no point getting into these discussions. What I'm trying to say is that everything's and anything's reality is basically Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's and not its own reality. Right? Allah Ta'ala is the creator, and everything else is the creation. Allah Ta'ala Khaliq hai, baki sab makhluk. Everything is creation. I am the creation, you are the creation. The clouds, the seas, the oceans, the rivers. Right? Everything else is the creation, and Allah Ta'ala is the absolute truth. He is the only reality that exists. I repeat that we have been doing these English workshops, and we have been covering these attributes of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in a character building workshop. Right? We always say this. So I always say that if we understand that the attributes of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then we'll become those people that Allah Ta'ala wants, and what actually makes us a good person of a society. And we always talk about this. So Allah Ta'ala is Al-Haqq. Imam Qushayri Rahimahullah Ta'ala says, Al-Haqqu min asma'ihi wa huwa bima'na al-mawjud al-ka'ini. That Al-Haqq is from the attributes of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and He is the one who is present with all His presence. So Allah Ta'ala's presence is the real presence. When there was nothing, Allah Ta'ala existed. And when there will be nothing, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will continue to exist. A time will come that Allah Ta'ala will just seize the world. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will perish the world on the day of judgment. And then when there will be nobody, then Allah Ta'ala will ask a question, Limanil mulkul yawm, whose kingdom is today? And then because there will be nobody to answer, then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will Himself answer, Lillahil wahidil qahhar. It is for Allah who is the majestic. I wish that I can understand this whole phenomena, or this whole concept, and this whole belief of Allah Ta'ala being the absolute truth. If you understand that Allah Ta'ala is Al-Haq, if you understand that Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala is the absolute truth, then, as I've always said about the attributes of Allah, then I will not be panicked, will not be stressed, will not be begging people out, will not be concerned about as to what will happen, what's going to happen tomorrow, what will be my future, oh my God, where I'm going to earn from, right? He is Al-Haq, He is Al-Fa'ilul Haqiqi. He is the real doer. He is the absolute doer. He is the one who does everything. We need to tell this concept to ourselves every single day. Prophet ﷺ used to make a dua in his tahajjud. He used to say, it's in Sahih al-Bukhari, Allahumma anta al-hamd, anta nuru samawati wal-ardi wa man fihinna, wa laka al-hamd, anta qayyimu samawati wal-ardi wa man fihinna, wa laka al-hamd, anta al-haqq, wa wa'duka al-haqq, wa qawluka haqq, wa liqa'uka haqq, wal jannatu haqq, wal naru haqq, wal sa'atu haqq, wal nabiyyuna haqq, wa Muhammadun haqq, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's how he used to start his dua at times in his tahajjud. This is the praise. The adab of dua is that you first praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then, for us, we start with the salutations and on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then we make dua. This is the adab. These are the etiquettes of making dua. So this is how he at times used to praise Allah Ta'ala. Allahumma lakal hamd. Ya Allah, all praise belongs to you. The absolute praise belongs to you. Anta nuru samawati wal ardi wa man fihinna. Ya Allah, you are the light of the heavens and the earth and whatever is within the heavens and the earth. Walakal hamd. Ya Allah, all praise belongs to you. Anta qayyimus samawati wal ardi wa man fihin. You are the one who has established or who has kept straight the heavens and the earth and whatever is in the heavens and the earth. Walakal hamd. Ya Allah, all praise belongs to you. Why? Because Antal Haqq, you are the absolute truth. Wa wa'duka al-haqq. Your promises are true. Wa qawluka haqq, and your speech is true. Wa liqa'uka haqq, and Ya Allah, meeting with you is true, is haqq, is true. Wal jannatu haqq, and paradise is true. Wa naru haqq, and the fire is true. Was sa'atu haqq, and the hour, yani the hour of the judgment is true. Wan nabiyyuna haqq, and all the prophets are true. Wa Muhammadun haqq, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is true as well. That's how he used to remind himself, and this is how he used to make his dua. Whatever Allah Ta'ala has said is haqq. Whatever promises that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made, they are haqq. Right? All the prophets are haqq. Their glad tidings are haqq. Their warnings are haqq. The meeting with Allah is haqq. Hellfire is haqq. The day of judgment is haqq. Subhanallah. Do we have this yaqeen? Do we have this certainty within us? If there was certainty, that yaqeen, that this is all truly haqq, we'll say that, because if somebody does not say this, of course he will be outside the fold of Islam. But do we really believe in it? Do we really practice it? Do we really act according to it? Sometimes, when I see people doing things around, it looks like they have forgotten that meeting with Allah. They've forgotten the day of judgment. They've forgotten that there is paradise. They've forgotten that there is hellfire. They've forgotten that there is a day of judgment. They've forgotten that you will be judged for every single action and every single word that comes out of the tongue. We have forgotten. But that's all haqq. Because Allah is Al-Haq. His promises are haqq.